Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be starting off a really exciting reading vlog where I'm binging the entire An Ember in the Ashes series by Sabata here. I currently own the first three. The fourth one is coming in the mail. I ordered it a week ago from Amazon and it's still not here.
So what the frick is going on?
It literally was supposed to come here days ago. I've actually read An Ember in the Ashes before and it was like 2 years ago. Goodreads says I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm rereading it right now. I'm on page 148. I've already started it before the vlog. I'm sorry. And I feel like it should already be a 5 stars. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what took away the 0.5 stars. Maybe I'll find out by the end of this book. But honestly, I feel like I'm enjoying this book way more than I was the first time. I read this book and then had a huge gap in between when I read A Torch Against the Night, which is the second one. I listened to it on audiobook. It just was a terrible idea to have a huge gap in between reading the books and then listening to this one on audiobook, where I kind of got dazed a lot while reading it and I literally don't remember anything about this book. I ended up not really enjoying it that much because I probably missed a lot of things. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks and I'm so focused on what's going on, and this was just not one of those times. Honestly, me reading this book in this vlog is going to be like I'm reading it for the first time because I legit don't know what happened in this book. They're all pretty thick books, but I'm hoping to read them in a few weeks. I've already started this one and honestly I'm so into it right now that I could finish it so quickly. Like, I know what happens, but at the same time the ending is a little bit foggy, which I'm excited about because I don't want to remember every freaking little detail. I need something to surprise me while reading this book again. This is a 4-book series. The 4th one just came out this December, but this one is about 2 main characters, Laia and Elias. But it's fantasy. It's set in a different world than ours. Laia is on one side of this little world and Elias is on the other, and they're like enemy groups. Laia lives with her grandparents and her brother, and one day her home gets raided and grandparents killed. It's like in the descriptions. And her brother gets taken. The only family member she has left is gone, and he is going to be thrown into this terrible prison, and she is determined to find a way to break him out because she ran away when he needed her help. He told her to run away, but she has this immense feeling of guilt that she ran away when maybe she could have saved him or done something. She doesn't know, but she is going to hate herself for the rest of her life if she doesn't try to do something. So she decides to try to go find the rebels that are against the empire of the people that are raiding, like just doing terrible things, treating people terribly. In the past, her family has had connections to them, and she's hoping that they'll help her break her brother out of this prison. So when she finds them, they tell her, if you want our help, you have to help us too. To do that, she needs to be a spy and pretend to be a slave, but honestly actually be a slave to the commandant or commandant, I don't know how to say it, of this military academy for the empire, the evil empire. The commandant is freaking evil. She is disgusting. She tortures her slaves. Laia is going to have to be the commandant's slave. Every time there has been a spy for the rebellion, they have always been found out and murdered. She's about to be thrown in this situation that no one has ever survived before, and somehow get some information to tell the rebellion so she can win her brother's freedom back. But now we need to talk about the other character, Elias. He is one of the soldiers in the Empire's military academy. They end up crossing paths. He is really against the Empire, but he can't openly speak that or he would literally be murdered. He wants to run away. That's also extremely hard to do. He hates his life. He is just disgusted to be a part of something like this. When he comes across Laia as a slave, he takes great interest in her, and he's just disturbed to know that the commandant is torturing Laia. The commandant is also Elias's mother. They're not close at all. The commandant is just disgusting, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If not, who cares? That lady has no soul. I'm fully convinced maybe throughout the series we'll get some vision of a soul from her. Sometimes I love villains to have like a bit of something to redeem them, but this is just a lady that I just don't want her to be redeemed in any freaking way. She is absolutely disgusting. I am so into this book. Like, I'm enjoying it so much. I love Laia so much. She's definitely my favorite character so far. And I also love Elias, but Laia is just a standout to me because she starts off with this book just so scared and just having no idea what to do. And I feel like so many YA books have the main girl just like be so strong from the beginning and knows how to deal with this shit. It's just so unrealistic to me. I have anxiety. I'm like freaked out by everything. I would have probably run away too, even though I wouldn't have wanted to, but the fight or flight thing, you just run. Like, you don't know what to do in the moment and you just flee. That's why I relate to Laya so much, and I just think she's so cool. I just have so much respect for her and I love her so much. And I also really like Elias. Like, he's definitely interesting to me, but Laya so far is like my baby. I will cry for her every single time anything happens to her. If I really get going with reading, I could finish it extremely quickly. I just need to go. Hey everyone, it is the same day. I'm on page 183 of An Ember in the Ashes, and holy shit, I forgot how freaking disgusting the Commandant is. I knew she was an evil character, obviously, and I've already touched on it in my first clip, but holy shit, she just gets worse and worse. And it's so interesting because we see Elias, who is the Commandant's son. She despises him. And we also have the perspective of the grandfather, so the Commandant's father. They have a rocky relationship too, and they can't stand each other as well. And it's just so weird. Like, I want more information. I'm pretty sure we do get more information in this book because I remember something being revealed. I was just talking to my friend Haley from Pages of Haley. Go subscribe because she's obsessed with this series. We were just talking about how evil she is. Like, there's not a more evil character. But like, what is this lady doing? What is her motive? Like, what is she so angry about?
I literally want to stab her in the throat.
She deserves the worst misery. I'm probably just gonna sit here and read more. But oh my gosh, update on my freaking copy of the 4th book. It's still not here. What is Amazon doing? It's been over a week and it literally says if it doesn't come here by tomorrow, then I need to ask for a refund. The book is still in stock and like for sale on Amazon. So
what is going on here?
I don't need it right now, obviously, because I still have some books to get through. But like, I'm really excited to have it. I'm like really wanting to binge everything right now. I'm so excited. It's 3 in the morning. My dog is snoring in the background. I'm still reading. I'm so into it. I think I have to finish it tonight. I have like 100-ish pages left. I'm a slow reader, so I'll probably be up to like 5. I just read the most freaking horrifying chapter. I completely forgot about it. I literally have tears in my eyes. I feel like I could sob. I'm just like so disgusted with what this empire forces these people to do. I can't with that scene. That was so freaking depressing. I'm big hurt. Just disgusting people. Just letting disgusting things happen. Can my dog stop snoring? I'll show you her. She's so cute. She's snoring. You snoring, baby? She got a little sweater on. She's all nice and comfy. So precious. Precious, baby. Hello. So it is 5 in the morning as predicted, and I finished An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I never even expected me to read this whole book tonight, but I'm that person that like barely reads a book and then randomly reads like 300 pages of it. It's definitely one of those books that you reach a part and you just can't stop reading it because it has just gotten so freaking terrifying. Like, you just need to know the ending. And I have read this book before. I knew the last scene, couldn't remember some of the details in between, and I'm really satisfied. I originally gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I definitely am bumping that up to a 5 stars this time. I honestly don't know what I thought was missing last time. I have a whole bunch of tabs in here. Instead of waiting a million years in between reading the second one from the first one, I'm gonna hopefully start A Torch Against the Night tomorrow. I'm really excited to read it because I genuinely don't remember anything about this book other than one scene. I'm also very iffy on one character, Helene. I can't decide if I don't like her or if I do like her, and I think that's something that will have to be decided as I continue reading the books, and I guess I'll keep you updated on that. I actually posted a video called Books That Turned Me Into the Grinch, and one of the questions for the book tag that I was doing was about a character that you hate that's not a villain, and I don't hate Helene, but I remember disliking her in this book, and when I was currently rereading it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna mention Helene. I've seen other people say they really don't like her on Twitter and shit like that, so I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't get better. And while she did a bunch of things that really rubbed me the wrong way in this book, the final like moment with her, I'm very curious. Like, I'm curious to see how her character develops. If it develops in a certain direction, I think I could really fall in love with that character. Right now, like, she makes me mad, but I'm not heartless. Like, I can see the good in her. The commandant, I do not see the good in that lady. Like, no. I did end up getting a little bit of the backstory from her. Laia and Elias have my heart. I love them so much, and it's not even like the romance thing, because the romance thing is kind of touched on in this book, but not really. Like, I just individually love their characters, and like, I'm worried for both of them. I would support a romance with them, but like, that's not the main reason why I'm obsessed with those characters. Like, I just genuinely care about them, and they both have qualities that very much are appreciated by me, I guess. But okay, I need to go to sleep. I literally feel so tired, and I'm probably gonna wake up at like 2 in the afternoon. My schedule's horrible, but hey everyone, it is the next day. It is really late at night. It's 11:15. I normally read at night anyway, so this is not a big deal. Also, look at my Hunger Games shirt.
I love it.
I am going to get started on reading A Torch Against the Night probably right now, unless I get distracted on the internet. But I did other things today. I was reading my friend Brittany from Brittany and Books' book that she wrote, because I'm currently beta reading it. Yeah, she's a little author. It's really good. It's my second time reading it, but now I want to read more from the Ember and the Ashes series. I also watched the new episode of The Bachelorette, because I literally am trash for that show, and I've been watching it since like 5th grade. So I just want to do a quick update that I'm about to start. I got page 1 open. Have no idea what journey I'm about to bring myself on. Everybody I'm talking to says that the books just get better and better as you go. I was browsing, and it seems like Helene, one of the characters that I'm trying to decide if I like or not, has a POV in this book. That could make me like her, because
I'm a sensitive little bitch.
So if I see anything in here from her point of view that gives me any emotion, I'm probably going to feel bad for her. But I do want to read at least 100 pages of this book so I can keep going and have like a strong, steady pace of reading. It is 4 in the morning. Apparently I never go to bed on a decent time. I am going to stop reading for the night and try to go to sleep right now, but I wanted to say I got 143 pages into A Torch Against the Night today. I gave this book originally a 3 stars. I listened to the audiobook like a year or 2 ago. I remember being disappointed by it, just thinking it was boring. Though I have said before that I don't think I gave it the attention it deserved since I listened to it on audiobook. I will be honest, the first 100 pages were pretty boring. Not the most boring thing ever, obviously, because I was still reading this book tonight. Like, I didn't put it down and like take a week to keep reading, but I definitely was kind of feeling like nothing was happening, and you know, nothing is happening still. It's starting to pick up a little bit. I'm a little bit worried though. I feel like I'm having a similar feeling to last time. I just feel like the first book is just so good, and I just don't think this one will live up to the first one. And I feel like that's a super unpopular opinion. Like, most people think this book is even better. The dynamic has switched. I can't give you spoilers, but what I was really enjoying from the story in the first book, you know, it's a second book and things have changed, obviously. I'm not sure if it's for the better in a sense of interesting me. You know, this could really turn around. I feel like there's a few little sprinkles in here that I'm thinking about and hoping becomes a bigger thing towards the end of the book. I feel like when I was reading Ember and I was at this amount of pages in, like, I was a lot more excited about the book. Either the pacing is slower or the plot doesn't excite me as much as the first one. We do have the addition exploration of Helene's point of view in this book, and I'm actually kind of enjoying that because she offers quite a different perspective than Laia and Elias. Honestly, Laia's kind of boring me in this book. She's like my favorite character from the first book. I really adore how terrified she is of everything and how she in the end like comes into her own and she has to do whatever she can do to help her brother. But like low-key, I don't know, her chapter's a little bit like boring. She's just not in the same situation as the first one, so it's not as suspenseful as Ember was when it comes to Laia's chapters. I feel like Helene's definitely have the coolest perspective right now, just because it's different. I feel like Laia and Elias's aren't the most interesting direction right now. I hate to say that. I feel like I'll still end up enjoying this book because I obviously like read a bunch of it tonight, but I do say compared to Ember, it just isn't as exciting. We'll keep reading and see if that changes. I really hope it does because I do really enjoy this world and the characters. Even though like Laia is like kind of boring me a little bit, her chapters, I still really do love her character. This book just had so much going on and I was just so scared. So much high stakes, and not saying that this book doesn't have high stakes, it just doesn't have the same feeling. I'll probably read this within the next couple of days because I'm kind of just reading a bunch because I'm really bored right now. I have nothing to watch and like I have nothing to do. So why not binge a series? Ladies and gentlemen, would you be surprised if I told you it's 4 in the morning right now? I don't think you would be. I have a massive update though. I finally got a Sky Beyond the Storm in the mail after 2 weeks of waiting for this. Who knows what happened, but it's actually in perfect condition. I was worried it was gonna come in like beaten up or something. I'm sure it's gonna be worth the wait when I finally read this. I did make some progress on A Torch Against the Night. I'm on page 254. I'm over halfway and I have like 190-ish pages left, so like 200 pages. I was telling you guys yesterday that I was kind of a little bit bored by this book, and I still stand behind that this book does not excite me as much as Ember does, but I do feel like it's picked up a bit, and you know, it's better than my memory. I definitely am picking up on more details, and since I read the books back to back, I'm also seeing a greater significance in things, and I just feel like I did not have the knowledge of this series anymore when I read this book. Not gonna lie, Laia is low-key not my favorite to read about right now, and there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she's a great person. I respect her so much. Her story is a huge journey, but right now her chapters, out of Helene's and Elias's and hers, Elias's and Helene's are definitely by far more interesting. I guess because Laia still has the same goal from the first book, and I feel like Elias and Helene have like really morphed. There's a lot of things changing with them and so much goes on with them, really. And Laia, like, you know, she has her goal and she sticks with that goal no matter what, and you can respect her for that. I'm hoping that once she completes whatever she's trying to do, that we can like move on from that and have some character development further, you know? Like, she needs a new goal. But honestly, Helene, I still have my issues with her. That just might be how it is. Like, there's some flawed ways that she thinks, but I do see her starting to question things, and that's what I wanted from her. I'm definitely vibing with her more. Not saying she's a great person and like I would want to be friends with her, but she's intriguing. Like, she is literally going through a mental struggle right now. I just feel like the other two characters, yeah, they're struggling with their own shit, but hers in ways is worse than both of them. Whether she deserves that or not, I just feel like she's really going through a lot in this book. I feel like in the first book, the person that was going through the most was probably Laia. They all have terrible lives, so there's no competition here. I'm honestly feeling excitement to move on from this book because I just feel like it is a build-up for the rest of the series, and I just feel like the next 2 books are really gonna go places. And I'm really hoping I love these 2 the most because I feel like the first 2 could just be like a big build-up and we're going somewhere crazy. Like, I really want that, so I guess I'll keep you updated. Hey everybody, it is 4:44 in the morning the next day. I have now finished A Torch Against the Night by Sabata here. Here's all my little tabs. I'm kind of struggling with what I'm going to rate the book. First I was like, okay, maybe 4 stars. Then I kept reading more of the book. I was like, okay, maybe 4.5 stars. And now ending the book, being so emotional over it and just like realizing like how much this series is already meaning to me and like the characters, I'm really invested. Like I'm about to freaking cry right now with how that book just ended. I'm like, is it a 5 stars? So I think I'm just gonna rate it a 5 stars on Goodreads. It could be a 4.5 or a 5. Either way, it's really high. Obviously, I had my issues when I was first reading this book. I definitely think it does give a different vibe. At first, it just wasn't enthralling me, I guess, the way that the first one was. But as like I got more into the book, as I expected, things just started getting crazier and crazier. And you could just tell that this is really setting up for something insane for the 3rd and 4th book. I feel like this might be like the weakest book in the series. This is my prediction, but it's also important because it really is setting things up. Throughout most of the book, I had a theory and I didn't even want to voice it to anybody that has already read the series because I was like, okay, I sound crazy. I ended up being right. I feel like a genius. I want this on my gravestone pretty much. Like I feel pretty smart. But even though I did figure out the twist or whatever, I didn't think I was right at the same time. Like this was just like a little tiny inkling that I had. And you know, I feel really cool. This book just ends off in a devastating way, just like the first one. Like there's just so much left unanswered and so much that could go wrong in the future books. And I'm absolutely terrified and I cannot wait to read more. Here's A Reaper at the Gates. I'm probably going to start it tomorrow. It's like really late and I have a Zoom doctor's appointment tomorrow that I need to be alive for. And while I feel like this book kind of bothered me a little bit because a lot of it was just like all the characters in different places, and in the first one I feel like they were all in one place. We could see their interactions constantly. This book had a different vibe with that. By the end of the book, it ended up just really hitting me in the feelings, and I feel like sometimes endings can do that and can save the rest of the book. I'm really into this series. Baby Yoda really loves it too. And I cannot wait to begin this journey of reading these 2 books. I'm so scared because all the shit that's gone down in the first 2 books, like what more could we do? What more pain and suffering are these characters gonna deal with? Because I feel like there's been enough. Update on how I feel about Helene. I still wouldn't want to be friends with her, but I definitely like her in a weird way. Like I don't like her, but I like her at the same time. Hey everyone, I look like a mess right now. Like I didn't even try, but it's like 1:30 in the morning, December 22nd. I took a break in between books. I read The Afterlife of Holly Chase after A Torch Against the Night because I wanted to read at least 1 book for Christmas. I have not been able to stop thinking about this series and I've just been dying to read A Reaper at the Gates. Yesterday I did start reading it and I got 98 pages in, so pretty much 100 pages in, and it's like a 450 something page book. I am kind of feeling the same way as I did when I first started Torch Against the Night. I'm not bored per se, but like I have no idea where it's going and I have no like direction so far on like where it's going, and I guess we're not really supposed to. I've heard people say this before. We just haven't really gotten to the meat and potatoes of the story. That saying always cracks me up for some reason because I freaking love potatoes. I just have no idea what this book is going to hold, and while I do love this series, it's just one of the characters is in a situation that honestly annoys the shit out of me. It's the character Elias. He's just been put in a situation. I'm not gonna spoil you obviously, but I just don't like what's happening to him and I just don't see how he's gonna have a way out of it. So I'm kind of frustrated because I'm like, oh, is this book gonna be like all with this annoying thing? Helene is still a super interesting character because she's just so bad. Like she has so many bad decisions. I can definitely see why people enjoy her so much, and I still would not want her to be my friend, but I can enjoy her story. I'm probably gonna read like a few more chapters. I honestly have a headache. Like I'm cursed by the devil to have a headache every single freaking day of my life since childhood. I'm still in the process of figuring out why that is, but you know, doctors really just always are confused by me. So I don't know how much I'll be able to actually read of it tonight, especially because I've just been like working for hours on editing a video. I'm happy with that, but
I'm in pain.
I know once it gets Christmas, like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, like I'm just not gonna really have much time to read, and that's okay. Like I gotta spend time with my family members, but like I'm gonna have to think about this book. I'm probably gonna get to a really good part and then have to put the book on hold for a few days, which is gonna really suck. So I'm just gonna go read. I don't know if I'm gonna update you again tonight because who knows how much I'll read. Hey everyone, it is, dang, what day is it? It's currently December 27th. So Christmas just ended. Things are back to normal. I have not read since like the 24th or something, just because my boyfriend came home for Christmas and he lives in Georgia. I live in North Carolina because he's in the army. Whenever he comes home, it's a big deal to me, and I kind of end up dropping everything. Now I'm on page 226. I have like 223 pages left, and it is like 10:30 at night. I should have started reading hours ago, but I took a shower. That's why my hair's wet, and I'm ready to read now. I'm excited to read now. I know as soon as I start reading this book, it's going to be crazy. I actually got a new bookmark. It's PETA. I got like a whole set of bookmarks from my boyfriend's family, so I'm super excited about my little PETA bookmark. I am in love with this series still. I just can't read a little bit of these books at a time. Like I have to read massive chunks of it. That's why I feel like I'm probably going to read the whole rest of it tonight. I have a little bit of a headache, so if it gets really bad, I'll probably have to stop reading, but there's a good chance I could read the whole thing because I've really been reading huge chunks of these books. And I do have a little bit of an update. Yesterday I went to my favorite used bookstore and I found A Torch Against the Night for $5, and it's the paperback in the new covers. I've just been really wanting to have the new covers, and I've decided I'm going to collect all of them in paperback. So one day when I reread the series, because I can already tell like I'm going to be rereading the series a bunch, I'm going to want to annotate it, and I don't really want to annotate my older editions of the hardcovers because, you know, I feel like those are kind of like ancient relics at this point. I want to keep them nice, and I just feel like it'd be really fun to have the whole set in new covers and then annotate them and highlight them and just, you know, kind of destroy them. And the biggest freaking development since Christmas happened, and my Christmas was great. I got Baby Yoda, or Grogu, whichever name you want to call him. I love him so much. I binge watched all of The Mandalorian recently. I am like back in a Star Wars mood. I've always loved Star Wars. I grew up with it. Like my dad always was playing the movies, but now I'm rewatching the movies and I'm reading some Star Wars books. So I'm definitely in the Star Wars mood, and Baby Yoda means the world to me right now. Like literally everything to me. I have Baby Yoda socks. Like, what the frick is this? I got so many Baby Yoda things this Christmas. I'm not gonna go through all of it right now unless y'all like sue me and get really angry about this. He's literally my child right now. I have been hugging him. I've been napping with him. Like, I literally just love it so much. And he has like a hard freaking head too. Like, I'm napping with something that hurts. Like, it stabs me. But I love it so freaking much. It gives me so much joy. So I wanted to show it to you and bring you joy as well. Oh my gosh. It's 12:44. I've been reading. I'm on page 312. Something just happened that just made my mouth drop open. I have tears in my eyes. It's crazy because it's essentially not that shocking, but at the same time it still got me. Like, it's something that's crossed my mind before, but I was like, no. This series keeps doing that to me, where something seems like, oh, maybe it could possibly be this, but it feels like such a far-fetched idea that I'm like, nah, it could never freaking happen. I need to start listening to my gut with this series, because I keep having like a thought and then just like discarding the thought, thinking I'm crazy. Nothing has really like crazy happened yet in the book. I did know from like Lisa from, now I'm blanking on her channel name, I'll put it on the screen. She had a bunch of reading vlogs and she was saying like she didn't really know where this book was going, and then she got like towards the end and it just got crazy and like you just had to keep reading. That just happens sometimes, and I definitely feel like I reached the point of no return with this book where you just need to know everything. I am so hyped by this reveal that we just had. I love how Sabata here does twists. Like, she really makes you think you know what's going on, makes you feel like safe in the situation you're at, and then just completely changes something. I'm here for that. I love mysteries. I'm constantly trying to figure out something. Every detail matters in this series. Like, every little thing needs to be taken note of because it comes back up later, and that's so satisfying to me. She's such a great writer. I'm just like in love with characters individually, and even like the evil characters. Like, they're so terrible and I can't stand them, but what they do, like, I just am so captivated by them. Like, I would need to see what they're gonna do. Like, Colleen, probably the most interesting character out of the 3 POV characters, just because her mind is such a battle. Why is it getting dark? There's decisions she has to make and sacrifices she has to make, and I feel like every single one of these characters have to make sacrifices, but they also just have so much history behind them too. Like, everybody has so much that has happened to them. You don't always know it, and like in moments like these you find out. The commandant, and I know I mispronounced it earlier in this vlog as the commandant, you know, leave me alone. But the commandant is definitely one of the most fascinating characters in this whole series because she's just so evil, doesn't really have any redeeming qualities, but we're kind of starting to finally get a little bit of insight into what her motivations are. There's some villains that are just so evil just to be evil, and they're just never really fully developed, but the commandant is just so well done in her evilness. And like, while she is so disgustingly evil and we continue to learn about the disgusting things she has done, there's just like a few moments, like just a few things that she has done that has just like a little weird. It just takes you back. There's just multiple villains in this series too. Like, there's 3 big people that I really hate, and even the main villain, I'm not even fully positive on my hatred of that villain yet, and I'm not gonna even say the villain's name. I'm confused by that character. I don't fully know the background of that character, so I don't feel like I can fully judge it, because there does seem to be more to the story, though they do have a lot of evil things that they have done. I'm gonna keep reading because that was just so exciting, and I know this vlog is like the longest thing in the world, but I'm in love with everything. It's like 3:40 in the morning. I have finished A Reaper at the Gates. Oh my god, look at all my tabs. Like, I obviously really love this book. 5 out of 5 stars. Are we surprised? I don't think we're surprised over here. Sabata here's endings always hit so hard. I do feel like the first book, we really got into the nitty-gritty of the book pretty freaking quickly. The second one and the third one, it took a bit longer for you to really see the direction of where we were going. But once we really got going, it was insane and brilliant. This world is so well thought out. The characters are so well thought out. They really feel real, and they're also flawed, and there's times where I can't stand them, and there's times where I freaking love them, and there's times where I'm even empathizing with the villains even though they're terrible freaking people and they've done terrible things, and I'm having to remind myself of those things. Shit, man, this is crazy. These books are crazy. It ended off in a way that I'm sad about. I have a good feeling about the 4th one. I'm hoping for a happy ending. You know, the characters deserve a happy ending after all the shit that has happened to them. This is either my favorite of the series or it's tied with the first one. I really love the first one. The second one, obviously I still really loved it, but it definitely was slower and harder for me to get into. I still read it pretty quickly, so obviously I'm here for this series, but I do think it's my least favorite one so far, but they're all freaking fabulous books. Like, it's crazy how every single book gives me some amazing moment of everything is changing and I'm gonna die and all the characters are gonna die and I don't know what to do. There's still so much more to learn about these characters. There's just always more. Like, I think I know these people, and then there's more to figure out about them. I'm dying to start the next one. Obviously, it is A Sky Beyond the Storm. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I've heard amazing things about it, and I just can't imagine Sabata here not nailing it. Like, she has done some amazing things with this series. Definitely one of my new favorite things in the world. Hey everyone, it's Peyton. Obviously it's Peyton. You've been on my channel for a good bit now if you're still watching this video. It is January 6th. Haven't updated you in a little bit. I have some updates. I still haven't finished A Sky Beyond the Storm. I'm on page 148. I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely think it's gonna be kind of like a Torch Against the Night and A Reaper at the Gates, where, like, you know, the beginning or for like the first half. I'm kind of just like wondering where this is going. What direction are we being led to? And then by the time we reach a certain point, everything makes sense and chaos ensues. Honestly, don't have much to say other than that, and I'm just gonna have to keep reading. I have been listening to an audiobook. I started the Poppy War last night and it's been really good, but I do want to let y'all know something because it happened during this vlog and I feel like I need to tell you about it. My whole family has tested positive for coronavirus. I might seem fine to you. Honestly, I feel like I'm a master at pulling out energy for videos because y'all have no idea, like over the years I've had so many medical issues, you know, not worse than a bunch of other people. Not trying to act like I'm the worst of the worst, but I've dealt with a lot of things I just never told y'all, and then I just pop on the video and get my energy and just act like nothing's wrong. I feel like I'm pretty good at doing that in person too. Yeah, I currently have coronavirus right now and I do feel bad, obviously. If I'm being quite honest, I've been dealing with a chronic illness for I think years now, and I'm just now finally like getting it investigated by doctors. What led me to finally like try to figure out what's wrong with me, because honestly I just reached a point where like how I was feeling, like the terrible way I was feeling every day, I just started to think everybody felt like that, because I've just had past trauma with doctors always telling me everything's fine even when I'm most definitely not fine. I've just reached a point where I would just say I'm fine and I'm normal and what I'm feeling is how everybody feels. But when I fainted for the first time a few months ago, and I've never done that before, I wasn't doing anything like physically like strenuous. Is that a freaking word? I think so. I stood up and I just plopped to the ground and like scared everybody. Once that happened, I decided like, yeah, I really need to figure out what's going on because I've been feeling a lot worse this year, to be quite honest. I'm telling you about this because it kind of links to coronavirus. A lot of the symptoms of coronavirus are things that I deal with every day already. I didn't know I had coronavirus. I honestly thought I was just dealing with something that I've been dealing with every day, just like one of the worst days of it. I think I gave it to my whole family is what I'm saying. Like I had no idea that I was feeling something else because a lot of the symptoms are stuff that I have all the time. None of us are like severe cases. I'm like really out of breath filming this right now. I don't feel well obviously, but I just feel like over the years I just kind of deal with it, you know? Like I know how to deal with not feeling well is what I'm saying. And I've been feeling so terrible this like past 6 months that this is just like kind of like my normal. I'm kind of really thankful that I don't have this really severe case of coronavirus because I was really worried that if I did get it that it would like destroy me. I think I'll be okay. My family's gonna be okay, hopefully. It definitely sucks because I never freaking leave the house, and probably like the one time I left the house I somehow got it and gave it to everybody, so that freaking sucks. But yeah, I wore this shirt today because it says I tried not to get coronavirus, but I did, and oops. So I just gotta keep going through it. And honestly, I even have a doctor's appointment on Zoom today because I'm really trying to figure out whatever this chronic illness is. It's kind of hard because a lot of doctors aren't the most useful, to be honest. They often don't seem to care, and I honestly have like trauma from them not caring. And I do have 2 doctors right now who seem to really care. I'm trying to hold on to that, but the one doctor I freaking need to care right now does not care because I think I have a heart condition and my cardiologist is not very useful right now. So I got a cardiologist appointment today, so we'll see if that goes horribly. But I'm sorry if you didn't want to hear about that. I'm gonna make more progress on this book. I've been having headaches as usual, so I didn't make as much progress, but I do think once I get to a certain point in this book, I'll probably read the whole thing in one day like I normally do with this series. But I've also really been enjoying the Poppy War on audiobook. It's literally so good so far. Like I already ordered the second and the third one and hardcover from Amazon because I had a freaking gift card. I'll update you guys later. I'm sorry this wasn't really about this book, but I thought it'd be good to like tell you guys a little bit of that. Hey everyone, I'm back again. I got this octopus and I'm angry.
No, you're not.
No, I'm actually kind of happy. My mom's talking really loud in the background, so I'm trying to keep going, even though it makes me angry. I'm kind of happy because I know I told y'all about my doctor's appointment. They actually officially diagnosed me. I'm not gonna stop snotting in the background. Well, my sister got corona too. Look over.
Oh my gosh, you don't
come over here.
I do not look presentable. I look like I have COVID.
She's in a robe. Come show them your robe. She got corona too, so we're kind of like all suffering together. Today I got my official diagnosis though for my chronic illness that I've probably had for at least 5 years, maybe my whole life, honestly. It's really relieving because it was from the same doctor who kind of dismissed me last time. Literally offered me no treatment, so I'm probably going to switch doctors anyways, but the fact that it's diagnosed means there's a step in the right direction.
Can I add that if you've ever went through something my sister has with doctors and you're not, and you know there's something still wrong and they're not giving you the answer, trust your gut.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't let them
Trust it.
tell you no.
Yeah.
Don't let them do that to
You
you.
you keep going until you know that there's no point to keep going anymore or whatever. Till you get to the point where you need to be. Or I don't even
the
know.
point, if you start passing out, you know you got an issue.
Because this girl had major issues and people were trying to dismiss them like they were nothing. And then look, now she finally has a diagnosis. But it took fighting. It took years of fighting for
Macy's
this.
trying to get in here.
Here, cheers to sweet tea and getting diagnosed with a chronic illness.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
And Corona.
And freaking Corona.
Macy's
Oh my
trying to
God.
get in here to join the party, the Corona party. That's very true because they often are really terrible.
You're not crazy. You know if something's wrong with yourself.
Macy does not seem to have Corona.
But I also read that dogs can get coronavirus, but it is not deadly like it is to...
I freaking hope so because
I mean, don't quote me, but I've read that somewhere, but like don't go and be like, Ashton on Peyton Reed's channel said this, and then something happens with your dog, and then I'd feel really bad.
Yeah.
Because I love dogs.
Yeah, but it's a good moment today, even though we all feel like poop. The first thing you gotta do is get diagnosed, and then you can start doing things to get better. I'm kind of happy though, because I had 3 doctors all telling me the same thing, but they wouldn't just say it.
Don't trust the government.
Oh yeah, they literally over here trying to tell me that she was gonna get in trouble for diagnosing me, even though all 3 doctors think I got it. Macy, shut up. It's because they don't want me to have the access to benefits that I could sign up for. They don't want to give it to people
If that
easily.
doesn't explain America, then I don't know what is.
I'll probably tell y'all what I have eventually. I'll tell you what I have eventually. I just don't feel like it. I just wanted to share the news. I will keep reading. Why am I coughing? I wasn't coughing
Stay
earlier.
at home, kids.
I know, but I will keep reading this book eventually and actually have an update for you. So we're okay. Hey everyone, I haven't updated in a bit. I think it's January like 11th. I did read a little bit more of, you know, the book last night. I'm on page 225, pretty much halfway through. I just need to power through the rest. I've been low-key kind of bored, you know, the same vibe as Reaper and A Torch Against the Night. I have to just get into the good shit where there's no return basically, and I have to keep reading, and I think I kind of got to that point last night. Things are picking up a little bit, and I'm sure the next half of the book is going to be chaos because that's just seems to be how this series goes. It just gives you a false sense of like what the freaking story is about to be, and then something changes and the world is ending. Honestly, I'm just ready to get to the end of the story. There's already been characters dying, and you know, I'm nervous that there's gonna be a character that like I really freaking love that dies. I am going to read immediately. I am going to read more of this book because I keep making excuses. I keep going and watching YouTube. This book is definitely like exciting because I would think we find out all the freaking mysteries and stories and all the stuff we've been wanting to find out about the villains, because that's really what we want to know about. We have the Commandant, we have the big bad villain of the series as well that I'm not even going to name because you just need to read it. I just feel like the big bad villain has like a deep dark story that we need to uncover, and that's kind of like one of the goals of the characters in this book, is to learn the villain's story, because if they know the story they can use that story against them and pick out the weaknesses and defeat the bitch, you know? That's the thing about villains that can be so good, is how there's things about them that you can relate to, or just situations that that villain has been through that you can kind of understand like why they are the way they are. They still do terrible things, but you kind of understand their perspective just a little bit, and that is when it freaking hurts. The Commandant though, she's just the worst freaking person of all time, and she has a little bit of a sad story, but not like, I just legit can't stand her. She is a disgusting person, and nothing will change the way I want to kill her. Next time I update you, I want to have finished it. Bye. She's a booby. So I have been peacefully reading. It is 2 in the morning and I kid you not, I was listening to folklore, being all peaceful, you know, reading my freaking book, and a giant spider started crawling up my arm and I screamed and I knocked it off and I don't know where it is. It might be in my blanket and I am scared.
I'm so scared.
So I thought I'd give you that update because I'm literally freaking out and I don't know where the spider went. Why was it on me? Send help immediately. I'm on page 335. I just read a line that instantly shot tears through my eyes. I'm not gonna say I'm sure everything will be fine. This series is all about death. Like, everybody freaking dies. Terrible things happen to these characters. Like, all these books are despair. This line that I just read is not good. This could ruin everything. Like, I cannot. They do not deserve this terror that keeps happening to them. I swear if this goes bad, it's over. It's the end. I'm deleting my channel. Like, I cannot handle something like this happening to my poor babies who have already suffered enough. I literally just had a spider on me. I'm suffering already. And now I read this line. So obviously I'm enjoying the book. I have a whole bunch of tabs, and why is there a freaking dot? This dot should have warned me that something bad was about to happen. But yeah, I have a lot of tabs. I know I'm like always saying like, oh, it's boring. It's not boring. Like, I still love the book. I've just been waiting for something crazy to happen, and crazy things are happening on this freaking page, and I'm scared. I'm scared. I kid you not. I read the next freaking line and everything is ruined. I am in tethers. What is the word? I am in ruin. I am trying not to cry because I do not feel like crying. I am in shock. I don't even want to continue reading this page because this is exactly the shit that I did not want to see. And I didn't want to see it just because it's freaking terrible and mean and painful and just so freaking terrible to the characters. I cannot with this shit. I just feel sadness, man. I look so ugly right now too, and you know, we're just dealing with that. Wow, this really hit different. This is like the meanest thing that the series has done so far to me. Like, there's been some pretty mean moments, pretty traumatizing things that has happened to these people, but this was something I was just like, nah, this shit, that's the shit that cannot happen. It seems like Sabata here has no heart whatsoever. Like, she's always laughing on Twitter about how she's always killing her characters, and I'm like,
bitch, why do you have to give me pain like this?
I feel hit by a wrecking ball. Miley Cyrus's wrecking ball. Like, I'm literally so sad. It's 4 in the morning. I need to go to sleep, which is really unfortunate because I'm super into the freaking book. I'm on page 410. I was on page 225 earlier today, so I made a good bit of progress. I have about 100 pages left, and I just know that I'm like reaching a part where I just would not be able to put the book down. I'm already struggling to do that right now. I just have to read the rest of it tomorrow when it's not 4 in the morning, you know? I am so excited though, because we're reaching something I've been waiting for the whole series, and it's like the backstory of the Commandant, the character that is so evil, but I am just fascinated by this character. Every time they come on the page, I just am taken away because she's just so evil. But we have these tiny glimpses of like information of like terrible things that may have happened to her, and like I don't think anything ever in this universe could ever excuse the terrible things she has done, but to understand her story is something I've wanted. Like, I've wanted to just know the full thing of her life. What is her reasonings behind her madness? Like, she's worse to me than the big bad villain. You can't redeem this woman. I just don't think so. But I do have a theory, and I've had a lot of theories throughout this series, and they end up being freaking right. So I'm just gonna think of this theory and I'll let y'all know if it's right, because obviously there's no spoilers. I think I caught like a line that might have hinted at this situation in the end of the book. I am dying because we're really about to get to like the final battle of the series, and we're gonna find out all of the information ever, and all I want to know is her backstory, and I swear if it's the most anticlimactic thing in the world, I'm going to be sad. I have a lot of pink tabs happening here. So there's two like couples that I kind of like. There's one with Helene, the character that I've been struggling with the whole series on, like, do I like her or do I not? I really love her at this point. She's definitely one of those characters that you just have to stick with and watch them develop, because she really like had a scene in this book where she recognized like her flawed thinking, like the flawed ideas that she's had in the past, especially in book 1, and that's why I didn't like her in book 1, because she really had some mindsets that weren't cute. What's great about that is we can see her like learn from those mistakes and grow. I still love Laya. She's like the strongest individual ever. She has been through so much and her character development is crazy. She went from a girl so terrified in the beginning that she ran away when her brother needed her the most, and now she's over here just kicking ass all the freaking time. Like,
seriously?
Elias, I obviously still love him. Like, he's definitely one of my favorite characters because he just has so much empathy. I have a lot of empathy and I just relate. He's been going through something for a long time. Like, since the end of A Torch Against the Night, he has had an issue that is so freaking annoying, and he's finally getting out of the issue a little bit. And I'm like, thank freaking hallelujah, because it's just the most annoying thing. Like, whenever something happens to a character that just like consumes their whole life for several books and you love that character and you just want things to be okay, it's annoying. If there's not some sort of happy ending, I want to delete this series from my memory, because all the terrors and horrible shit that has happened, like, I went through that because I want a happy ending in the end. Don't do me some like freaking Divergent trilogy shit, like Allegiant, like, no. Oh my god, it's the next day and I'm reading the last 100 pages and I swear there's been 2 horrible things that freaking just happened within 10 pages. I'm in denial right now, so I'm not crying because I'm like, no, there's no way you can freaking do this to me. Sabata here like legit has no heart within her. Like, she just legit does not give a shit. Like, she is trying to ruin all of our lives. I'm so scared. This book is scary. I don't know if you can see this, but I have tears going down my face. I have 16 pages left. She just does not hold back in giving you as much pain as a reader as possible. I was in denial of what happened, but I'm keeping reading and, you know, I'm getting to the conclusion, and you know what happened is what happened. Like, it actually happened. It's so sad. I mean, I think we can tell here that like people died, and I'm chill with characters dying if it feels like there's a reason, and I just don't feel like some of this death was necessary. I don't know if it was for shock factor or whatever. Like, I could have pictured something different. It reminds me of a Finnick Odair moment. Like, yeah, there's arguments to be made about him, like, oh, it shows the brutality of war, but did it really need to happen? Because there was another death in that series and I think it showed the brutality of war perfectly well on its own. That's the point I'm making here, is like, I just don't think it was needed, and I'm gonna forever remember this book as something that makes me so freaking angry, because I'm just gonna be sad about it forever. Like, I hate to see what just happened to these people. I have to finish the last 16 pages and deal with what this author did to me. It's 10:30 at night. Can we believe that I finished A Sky Beyond the Storm at not 4 in the morning? I'm honestly so impressed with myself. So I finished the book though, and there's plenty of tabs. Favorite moments. Most of them are pink. Lots of romance shit in here, apparently. I am not surprised by how this book went, because Sabah has not once cowered against like killing a bunch of characters. I mean, I feel like that's to be expected from a 4-book series. So yes, there is characters that die. I'm not gonna tell you who. I am really upset about it. I do like how the book ended, but honestly, I don't feel like some of the deaths were necessary. Like, I feel like we could have just not killed those people and we would have the same impact of the book. So I don't know if that's gonna be an unpopular opinion or not, but honestly, like, I'm really sad because I really liked those characters. They deserved better than that. Obviously, I can't say too much about this book, but obviously I freaking loved it. I am not sobbing, so that's good. I do feel a great sadness in my chest, but bitch, if I start crying, all of my freaking things I've been dealing with in my life, it's just gonna come flooding, and I do not want to cry. So because I kind of had a little bit of hope that things that happened weren't real, and they were real. You know, you're reading a book, it happened, it was real. I was hoping that it'd be like, psych, everything's fine. I think the most interesting thing that we have found throughout this whole series is that my least favorite character, Helene, became my favorite freaking character of the whole series. I'm just being honest with myself. She still has her flaws, and we definitely see that in book 1, but seeing her journey and everything she goes through and what she decides in this book and how she really just grows as a person. Like, she grows
hugely.
And I respect that on another level, and I want nothing but happiness for her. She deserves some peace and quiet in her life after the crazy war that went on in this book. All 3 of the main characters deserve that. And I know I was saying I was really excited for the Commandant's backstory, and I don't think it was the most exciting thing in the world, but it makes sense. There might have been a little bit of a chapter or a scene that was from her point of view, which was a nice surprise. I don't think that's really a spoiler, you know, it's just a chapter. POV. Overall, I think this is a really satisfying conclusion. I don't think I'm left with any questions about the world or the characters. Like, I see what's happening here. We ended off like it felt like an ending. I was just a little bit upset, obviously, with the bad things that happen. You know, the sad things that happen. Such a solid book, and probably 5 stars. Let's be real. I literally, like, just give me any emotion, 5 stars. There's some books out there that I just hate it. So obviously you have to do something right to get me to love you. This series has rocked my world. Absolutely amazing, fantastic. I do think there's a lot of people that probably love the series even more than I do. I just feel like I haven't been able to attach myself fully to a series, like, you know, like I did with the Hunger Games, and maybe that's just the nostalgia aspect of that. You know, I'm older now, I'm in college, I'm gonna turn 20 this year, holy shit. So I just don't know if I can reach that level of emotion anymore. I think this is the closest I probably can get. This series is just amazing. The characters are so well done. The world is so well done. The villains are so well done. Each book packs with a punch, with plot twists and horrible things happening to the characters. And you know you care about the characters because every time something terrible happens to them, you are hit in the soul. Also, me wearing this freaking Hunger Games shirt, just read it. My boyfriend got it for me for Christmas. But I feel like I've said everything I can say in this vlog. It's such a long video. If you made it this far, give me a sword emoji down below because you're the true MVPs if you actually watch this whole video. Also, health update. Obviously, I'm feeling better. I still have my chronic illness, but you know, I'm used to dealing with that. My parents both have pneumonia now. My sister's okay. So somehow the coronavirus switched into some pneumonia for them. So they're not doing so well, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Yeah, you really went on a journey with me. I will never forget this experience. I really hope this video does well because I just had so much fun making it. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, let me know because I want to make this a series on my channel where I binge a whole bunch of book series and long ass vlogs. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it because I know it was a long one. Like it, comment down below, have a good day. Please subscribe, make sure to follow all my social medias which are linked down below, and go click the bell button which is right by the subscribe button which you should have already clicked, and goodbye.